Mind is important when life happens. Doctor's Hospital, always there for you. Call 949-6066.
But I do have some questions.
There are more questions than answers.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
Talk today.
What's on your mind, Cayman? If you're ready to talk, we are ready to listen. Discussing current events and local news, community spotlights, hot topics, listener stories, cultural and historical discussions, environmental issues, fun and lighthearted topics, guest interviews. Cayman, basically anything you want to talk about, we are ready to listen. Here's your host, Charles Glidden.
Coming up, the Deputy Governor joins me for an exit interview, and we hear about the Cayman International Girl Youth Development Program. Later in the show, we open the phone line so you can let us know what's on your mind. Talk Today is next on Radio Cayman. Stay with me.
Talk Today is reminding you
to avoid any statements or comments which are abusive, derogatory, malicious, or defamatory. Do not use indecent language or make any statement that is false or misleading. Call 1-800-534-8255, 949-6990, 949-8037, or WhatsApp us on 925-3261.
And now, back to Talk Today.
Good afternoon and welcome to Talk Today. I'm Charles Glidden. Good of you to tune in. I'm sure everyone's looking forward to the long weekend, our 4th of July holiday, which we'll do on Monday. But, sometimes the Americans amongst us get a little confused, especially if they're new to Cayman. When they hear we're celebrating 4th of July, they think it's their 4th of July. We go, no. We don't celebrate independence here. This is Constitution Day. Yes, we got to get it right. Well, we're not going to fool around here because I have a very special guest. We want to get right into it and get every minute with him that I can. In a week from today, we'll be seeing a changing of the guard of sorts. The Deputy Governor of the Cayman Islands, the Honorable Franz Manderson, retires from the civil service on July 7th. He has served as a deputy governor for 14 years and as a civil servant for 44 years. The Honorable Franz Manderson joins me now for a bit of a reflection on his distinguished career in the civil service and also get his thoughts and observations on the Cayman that has developed during his journey through the civil service. DG,
yes, sir.
Welcome back.
Thank you, and good afternoon to all of your listeners. Thank you so much for having me, sir. I really wanted to come on the show. And first of all, just give the people of the Cayman Islands a big thank you for all of the support they have given me from over my entire career. I am, paid to serve the people of the Cayman Islands, to be a good civil servant. And it's been the distinct pleasure of my life to serve the people of the Cayman Islands for 44 years in various capacities that we can talk about. But, really, I just want to start by thanking all of the people in the Cayman Islands for their support, for their encouragement, for their patience, understanding, and some constructive criticism is always good once it's constructive.
Yes.
And I have, always said that, starting and becoming a civil servant was the best decision that I've ever made career-wise. I don't think I would have done a good job being somewhere else. And I followed in my mother's footsteps. And I have never regretted the day that on the 7th of July, as you said, 1981, I joined the Immigration Department as an hourly paid worker, and I have never regretted that day.
You started at the bottom.
I started at the very bottom. I was too young to become even a clerical officer. I didn't get to become a clerical officer. I was a clerical assistant making $5,000 a year. I found my first contract. And I became a clerical officer in February, and then when I turned 17 in July, I became an immigration officer. So July has been a big month for me.
It's always been a landmark.
It's always been a landmark, and I am so grateful to Her Excellency for allowing me to leave on my schedule. I wanted to give that year's notice so that my successor could be named, that we could have a good handover. My successor could name her successor, and that's in the train right now. But I wanted to leave on my time and on my schedule. So I said, what better date to leave than the 7th of July, the day that I started. So many years ago. And it has been a really the privilege of my life to serve.
So was this the plan? I mean, you always wanted to be a civil servant?
Sir,
once you got out of school?
There was no grand plan. While I became a big planner and planned a lot, becoming a civil servant was not the plan. We talked earlier about my first, I think in my early days, I was fascinated by garbage trucks. I thought that was the coolest job in the world. Probably like 9 or 10 years old, and I was fascinated by garbage trucks. That changed. I think I didn't want to be a carpenter like my Uncle Jimmy, who was a great role model. Him and my Uncle Tony Powell. And
we can't leave out the cricket.
Oh yes. He was an amazing cricketer. He had the Jim Powell Oval on Reverend Blackman Road, and but I was sort of gravitating around 14, 15. I was gravitating to more law enforcement. I kind of thought I would want to be a law enforcement officer. Not sure why, but I was thinking about that. But I only knew about police and customs. And then an immigration officer came to what is now John Gray and told us about what the immigration department does, and that it does have law enforcement capabilities, and that it protects our island, keeps unscrupulous people out, removes people who shouldn't be here. And that really sort of resonated with me. And I went home and I told my mother, and she said, "Well, yes, Franz, that's a great idea. The immigration department read a clause from the glass house, so I can drop you to work." So it was really more of a convenience than a real plan. And so I started, and I went in as an intern, and I was doing filing, and I made sure to try to make that good impression, So whenever the staff came around and says, "Hey, Franz, how you doing?" Although I was bored, sort of out of my mind, just filing cards that people fill out at the airport, I always said, "Oh, I'm having a good time. Thank you very much for the opportunity. I'm learning a lot here." And I was learning, but it was just really boring, really boring. And I made sure never to leave at 5 o'clock. I would always try to work till 5:15, 5:20. I had to catch the bus, so I had to. My mother worked much later, so I normally would take home the bus when I finished work. But I said, I don't want to be a stickler for 5 o'clock. So I made that. Obviously, I made that good first impression, because when I came back the next year then to apply to the department, they said, "Oh yes, Franz, we remember you. You were here last year. Yes, we have a space for you." And then they put me to do exactly what I had been doing before. So
you're an expert at that.
I was now an expert at filing. But again, Mr. Bostock, the chief immigration officer at the time, I found a letter that he wrote back in 1981 saying, "I think Franz has the potential to be a good immigration officer one day. He's just too young now. Let me give him a chance to work with us until he's 17." So again, that's what I've been trying to do my entire career, is give Caymanians opportunities. Giving Caymanians opportunities, has been one of the greatest highlights of my career. Seeing what happens when you really tell someone, "Listen, I trust you, get on with it. I'm going to give you this opportunity." And people don't normally let you down. They actually exceed your expectations if you give them the tools that are necessary to do their job. So I have seen that throughout my entire career. And the day that I became an immigration officer was like the best day of my life. I put on that uniform, that white shirt and that blue pants, and I was My mother had to tell me to take it off,
Yeah.
to go to bed. I just wanted to stay in the uniform, but it was the respect that I had for the uniform that was really resonating with me. But, sir, I said in Parliament a couple of weeks ago, actually, my purpose really for getting a job and my purpose for working was simply this. I wanted to make my mother and my sister proud. My mother sacrificed so much for my sister and myself. How she did the things she did on the salary she was making, back. If I was starting off making $400 in the 1980s, imagine what she was making in the 70s and the 60s. And it was tremendous what she did. So I said, if I can give back a little bit to my mother and take care of my sister, then I would have done well. And what I found out over the years, sir, is that if you are focusing on your purpose, you never work a day in your life. You just focus on that purpose. And then it became, making my wife proud, making my children proud, making my country proud. And so, sir, in 44 years, I cannot remember ever waking up not wanting to come to work.
You just enjoyed it.
I just enjoyed it, and I focused on my purpose. If you focus on the work, in other words, the work is the only reason that I'm doing this, then when the work stops, you're going to have trouble transitioning. But if you have focused on your purpose and you've realized your purpose, then the day when the work stops, you still feel accomplished because you've been focusing on your purpose. So I'm satisfied that my mother and my sister and my children and my wife are proud of me. People of the Cayman Islands tell me repeatedly they are proud of what I have been able to achieve and the civil service has been able to achieve over the last, say, 14 years that I've been deputy governor. People stop me every day. Thank you for your service. Thank you for the changes. Do you know how you've changed my life? Do you know how you've made my life better? So it felt right for me now, sir. I will be 61 on next week, Tuesday. And I wanted to leave when things were good, and my sense of duty would not have allowed me to leave when times were not good in terms of crisis. So I commend the Premier and his government for just basically keeping things very steady. Over the last year, the government has been working as a cohesive unit. Working really well with the civil service. I feel really comfortable about where we are as a government, as a country, as a people. And I want to, record my thanks to the Premier, the Leader of the Opposition, and all members of Parliament for the way in which they conducted the hearing, the meeting 3 weeks ago, where they said goodbye to me. That is a moment that I'm never going to forget, and the fact that my mother and my family was there to hear the elected members, the people that I serve, talk about my performance and how we have worked well together. It was, one of the best days of my life. So very, very, very pleased that my mother and my sister and my family could hear that.
We're going to stick a pin there. We have to take a break. Be right back.
Accidents and illnesses can strike without warning. Ouch! When it comes to urgent care, every second counts. At Doctors Hospital, we have a dedicated team of experienced doctors and nursing staff available to you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Don't waste time in an overcrowded emergency room when you need urgent care. Whether it's a broken bone, a severe infection, or a sudden illness, trust in Doctors Hospital's unwavering dedication to providing the best immediate care. For complete urgent care when you need it the most, choose Doctors Hospital, located in Georgetown, 16 Middle Road.
There you go, sir. Thanks for choosing JN Money Transfer.
Boy, thanks to JN Money Transfer, I can stay right here in Cayman and pay Mama bills back home in Jamaica. Her water, light, phone, and other bills never late. Every month I pay everything in one place.
Make payments to over 30 companies in Jamaica through JN Money Transfer. Fast, affordable, convenient. Call 1-800-744-1163 for details.
Hi, this is Gary King from Totally 80s. My special guest this week is Carol Decker from Tapao. Carol talks about the changing face of the music biz. I'll also bring you the latest news on the biggest stars of the decade.
This is totally 80s.
Heard on Saturdays from 2 until 4 p.m. on Breeze 105.3 and 91.9. And brought to you with the kind compliments of KFC.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today. What is on your mind, Cayman?
Welcome back. I'm speaking with the Honorable Franz Manderson, who will be leaving the civil service next week. During your time, you've served as Chief Immigration Officer. You later was Chief Officer in the Portfolio of Internal and External Affairs, where you played key roles in national security, immigration again, governance matters, and then ultimately Deputy Governor. You've really been, right at the center of all the nuts and bolts of what makes Cayman run as smoothly as it does.
Yes, sir.
What insights have you gained during that time about the development of Cayman, where we come from, where we're going?
Yeah, so as Chief Immigration Officer, I really was exposed to rapid development and work permit numbers skyrocketing, and just watching to see sort of where we were headed, the number of new nationalities coming into the country, some of the challenges that brings, having to educate yourself on those countries so that you can be aware of the challenges that happens there, or the challenges that some of those nationalities can bring to the country, and nothing that is necessarily bad, but you just need to be aware of their cultural norms and things that they bring.
Your culture can really throw you a curveball.
Exactly, their culture. So you have to be aware. So I've seen that, and I was, really sort of concerned way back in 2004 when I became Chief Immigration Officer. Are our people getting the best jobs? That was always on my mind. And what I found out very early on is that work permits does not take jobs from people. You can't buy a work permit. You can't go to Foster's or one of the supermarkets and buy a permit. Somebody applies. Normally a Caymanian applies for a permit. So work permit holders does not take jobs from Caymanians. Employers give them away. That's what happens. And that's where the focus should be, is on the employer. And I proposed then a system where we would focus on employers in rewarding the good and focusing on the bad. No, I can say that after many, many years, Minister Miles has now taken that on board, and we will shortly, I see, come up with a policy that does just that. Is because I've saw in my entire time, worked at immigration, 5 years as Chief Immigration Officer. Before that, 3 or 4 years processing different types of permits. I've never seen where a work permit refusal automatically got a Caymanian a job.
Yeah.
Because if an employer decides, I want Franz Manderson, and they apply for a work permit for Franz Manderson and the board says no, that doesn't mean that they're just going to call up somebody else and say, the board turned the permit down, so I got to take on somebody that I don't want to, or somebody that I think is not the right fit for my organization, or is not qualified. You wouldn't normally do that. If you were employing a helper and the board, and you interviewed 5 people and you only found one person to be acceptable, and you applied for the permit, and the board said no, would you go to take on somebody to take care of your child that you thought was not qualified? You wouldn't do it. So it's about, I think, focusing on employers and incentivizing them to think Cayman first. Before I put an ad out, I want a Caymanian for this job. And what I've found now as deputy governor is if you get that thought in the hearts and minds of your HR team and your senior leadership team, some amazing things can happen. So on numerous occasions, when in the civil service, when we advertise a job, we do not even look at the applications that are for non-Caymanians because we are focused on bringing in our own people. And the law says that we must give them first opportunity. And sir, walking around the civil service now, I am inspired by what I see. The number of young Caymanians coming into the civil service, I've never seen anything like it before. We have successfully changed the people's perception of the civil service in terms of it's a good employer, you will be treated fairly, you're going to get a chance to be trained, you'll get a chance for upward mobility, and it's a great place to work. And getting into the service is not as easy as it was before because we are focusing on getting the best.
You're not just handing
We're not handing out anything.
A job to Caymanians.
We're saying if you want to be in the civil service, you are going to have to up your game a bit.
Yeah, I saw some comment by someone that made a comment on the article, and they referred to the civil service as Cayman's welfare system.
That's disgraceful, really.
Yeah.
I don't know why people would even think like that. Are you saying that the policeman that you're going to call to help you shouldn't be there? Are you saying that the people that are taking care of our grandmothers in the care home shouldn't be there? Are you saying that our social workers who are dealing with child issues and child abuse shouldn't be there? What are you talking about? Who is these people that is on the welfare system? I don't know what you're talking about. I take great offense to that, and I don't know who these people are, and I don't understand. I saw some of those comments as well. I'll stop there because I could get very sort of annoyed by those things, and
I saw the blood begin to boil there.
Yeah, I don't understand. So I am so proud of what I see in the civil service right now in terms of the caliber of people that are coming into our civil service. I met a young lady yesterday. She has a doctorate she's working so hard. She has her master's and she's about to get her doctorate in public health. Amazing young lady. And sitting right next to her is another lady who has her doctorate.
So this crop is the most educated that we've
have ever seen. And I walked over here with a young Caymanian, Miss Evans, Jada Evans, just walking over here. She just joined us. She's one of our returning graduates. And she is doing amazing work, working in the Ministry of Health. I've seen so many young Caymanians coming into the service that it's one of the reasons why when I leave here next week, Tuesday, I'm doing so in peace because I know we are in capable hands.
You studied law too.
I did.
You're a qualified attorney. How did that come about?
So I had this goal, sir. Like I said, I became very goal oriented, and a goal without a date is just a dream. So I became very goal oriented, and at 18, I said, Franz, you could be chief immigration officer before you were 40. And I had some goals in between, but I said, you're not going to get there on a high school education. So, what do I want to study? What degree do I want? What degree is going to help me? And I went to court one day. I had arrested some persons, and we were in court. And the case finished a bit early. I never forget it. I was on my day off. I'd come in on my day off to go to court, and the case finished a bit early. And I said, I don't want to just go home. So I walked next door to the Grand Court, and in the Grand Court was the Court of Appeal. And they were hearing a case. And these are our most eminent judges. Justice Zaka, Judges Telford Georges, and James Carr. I'll never forget those three men. and they were hearing this very complex case. And I just sat there fascinated, listening to these, the lawyer for the defendant say why my client should get off, the prosecution saying why you should, keep him in prison. And I'm like, wow, how are they ever going to be able to come to that decision? And the case finished, and Justice Carr, who was the president, leaned over and spoke to one of his colleagues, and leaned over and spoke to another of his colleagues, and delivered this amazing judgment. I'm like, wow, I want to be like that. I would love to maybe be a lawyer. And Charles, the next day, I never forget as long as I live, the next morning, I walked into the immigration office and opened the compass, and what did I see? Applications for law school now being accepted.
Mm-hmm.
And I jumped on that immediately, applied to go to the law school, got accepted, and the rest is history.
So you continued to work in
Oh,
government
yes, sir.
while you went to school?
Oh, yes, sir. I worked every day. It was the most challenging thing that I'd ever had to do, because I was working shifts, and my shifts were doing enforcement work was 5 a.m., finish work around 10 p.m., try to go to law school doing that. So if you think about it, if you conduct an operation on a construction site and you have to chase some people down the road, and then not everybody wants to come nicely, and then you finish that at 10 o'clock, and then at 11 o'clock you're in a law school class, trying to concentrate, knowing what just happened to you an hour earlier. It would always take me this while to get back into track. So I found myself, studying 2 o'clock in the morning, waking up extra early before going to work at 5 o'clock to try to read, to try to do my homework. It was taxing. It was taxing.
Tough schedule.
Tough schedule. So I found one of my old law books, and it was where I was taking dictation. I was taking down all the notes, and I was reading, and I could see my handwriting getting worse. And then I saw written, "Franz, wake up! Franz, wake up!" So I was falling asleep. But again, if you have that goal and you're willing to make the sacrifice, you can achieve it. So I graduated from law school, did my PPC, got a commendation, and then did my articles at Walker's. And before I was 40, I became Chief Immigration Officer.
You hit your goal.
I hit my goal.
We've got to take a break. Be right back.
Did you know that Doctors Hospital provides urgent care services 24 hours a day, 7 days a week? And Doctors Hospital's urgent care physicians have access to the most advanced MRI and CT imaging in the Caribbean, providing reliable diagnostics when you need it most. When you need quality urgent care for an illness or injury, Doctors Hospital is here for you 24/7. Whether it's a migraine, chest or abdominal pain, shortness of breath, broken bones, or another urgent need, Doctors Hospital at the top of Walker's Road. Urgent care right now.
The Passport and Corporate Services Office is urging all residents to verify the validity of their travel documents and take steps to protect them ahead of the hurricane season, which starts the 1st of June. Residents are advised to check passport expiry date, verify entry requirements for their destination, apply for or renew passports and visas early, and make copies of passports and key documents and store them in waterproof containers. For more information, call 345-649-7678 or email passportandcorporate@gov.ky.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today. What is on your mind, Cayman?
Welcome back, and I'm speaking with the Honorable Franz Manderson before he takes off, puts his feet up maybe, I don't know. What would you say are your fondest memories in the civil service?
So I have so many, sir. And what I have concluded is my most treasured memories is when civil servants made people's lives better. It's not achieving individual accolades or putting out a policy. It is making people's lives better. And I told a group of new employees this morning. I tell the story of a gentleman who had a conviction 6 years prior. He had been out of a job for about 3 years. He gets a job, first time in 3 years. He's loving it. He's enjoying it. And his employer calls him in and says, on a Thursday, I believe, we want to send you to our headquarters on Wednesday of next week to get additional training. We think you have a future in this company. So he goes to get a police record to go and get his waiver, and he realizes, my goodness, this conviction is still on my record. What do I do? He calls up the expungement office, and he says, what can you do? No, an expungement, you need an application, you need to set up a meeting of the board, you have to do some background checks to make sure he hasn't been convicted again. You get the meeting quoted, you get everybody together, you give the report, and if the board agrees, then you have to develop an expungement report. You have to get all these things done. And he said, how can you help me? Sir, that gentleman left the island on Tuesday with his record expunged. That is some of my favorite moments of when we change people's lives for the better. And I could spend the rest of the afternoon telling you about the work of the passport office, where they issue a passport in an hour because a sick child has to get off the island in 4 hours or they may not come back. Or, my office process an application for a naturalization in 24 hours to get a lady off island who's losing her eyesight. And if she doesn't get to a hospital in 3 days, she's going to lose her eyesight. Those are the things that are our most proudest, memorable moments, is when the civil service came together and made people's lives much better. And it can be from a passport to a work permit for a helper that just needs to be done right away. Otherwise, I can't go to work because my children have nobody to take care of them. I've seen so many of those moments, sir.
Anything other than directly helping people, something in the civil service, development, something that you initiated that you look back and say, I'm proud of that?
Sure. So there's quite a few. So we get criticized for this, but I have absolutely every belief that our purpose and our vision, our purpose is to make people's lives better, which I just told you about, but our vision of being world class is the right vision. And it's the right vision because of the caliber of people that we have in the civil service. So while people are out there beating up on Caymanians, I am here convincing Caymanians that they can be world class. That has changed people's lives. And many people come to me and say, Mr. Manderson, I wasn't sure about this vision, but sir, it is correct. And I am performing at the highest level. We recently increased maternity leave for our staff. A young lady, in doing my round, she said, Mr. Manderson, you have no idea what that did for me. I was going to have to rush back to work after spending 6 weeks with my daughter. And because you increased that, because the government increased it, not just me, the government increased the retirement, the maternity leave, I got to see my daughter smile. I got to see my daughter smile. I got to spend quality time. That is transformational. A lady came to me and she said, Mr. Manderson, I know you took a lot of licks for the 5% COLA, but sir, as a result of that 5% COLA, I am now able to further my education. I wanted to do a course. I just couldn't find the money to do it. But that little 5% is now going to allow me to go and get a degree from a university that I've always wanted to do it. I was so close. I just couldn't get the extra couple of $100. That COLA is now going to allow me to do that.
It all comes back to the human element.
Yes, sir. It's care.
Yeah.
It's care.
Before we're getting short on time, anything that you say, I could have handled that a little better?
Oh, yes, sir. I've made operational decisions in enforcement, that I look back on and say, Franz, you should not have done that, one that has stayed with me is we came off an operation, and I was the leader of the team, and we came off an operation, and we had on our bulletproof vests, and we had all our batons and handcuffs, and we went into the office, and we took off all the things. We were finished. And I go back on the side, and one of my informants comes up and says, hey, Franz, there are 2 guys working illegally down the road. If you go right now, you can catch them. And I went back inside, and I said to one of my officers, come with me, we're going to go down the road and look for 2 people. And he said, should I bring my baton? And I said, no, it's only 2 people. And when we got there, well, it wasn't 2 people. It was like 5 people. And they all ran. And long story is that the officer ended up almost getting hurt really bad because he never had his defensive tools. And that stayed with me for a long time, is that, don't rush these things. Don't rush safety. Don't rush care. Thankfully, he was fine, and he was not injured badly, but he could have been.
Yeah.
And that one error in judgment right there has stayed with me a long time, and I don't make it happen again.
You got to rush back to cabinet.
Yes, sir.
Tell us what it's like being a civil servant interacting with the politicians.
Yes, it is. So politicians change, but at the end of the day, all politicians have the same priority, is to get things done for my people. They get out on the campaign, and they promise, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, and then they come to the civil service and says, I need you to help me deliver on those promises, and that's our job. So they are going to put pressure on you. You have to understand that they are going to put pressure on you to deliver for the people, because they can't do it. They can make the promise, but they rely on the civil service to operationalize those promises. And, nobody voted for me, right? So I don't have to be popular. I don't have to do what everybody wants me to do. I can just focus on what I think is best and what is permissible within the rules. So I have to understand that, yes, Franz, nobody voted for you, but everyone has voted for your elected colleagues. So you need to work very hard to make sure that they understand that we are working to their priorities, not mine, to theirs. And once you understand that very clearly, then things go well.
Now, you sit in cabinet, right?
Yes, sir.
So when a bill is being considered, can you dissent?
No. So I don't have a vote.
But can you say, gentlemen, ladies, that's a bad idea?
Yes, I can do that. I can do that. I can do that. I can say, really, have you thought about this? If I'm going to say I think it's a bad idea, I will normally give you what I think is a good idea for people to think about. And for the most part, elected leaders value that, because I've been around a long time, and some of them are very new. So they will say, "Oh no, DG, thank you for that. We will have another look at it." And we try to work so hard that by the time it gets to cabinet, those sort of issues have been worked out, so that we don't end up having that sort of discussion. But I think people have always sort of valued my feedback, and we've ended up working really well together.
Now, in 2002, in an up-close interview with The Compass, you're quoted as saying, talking about his home, talking about his home, Franz says he loves that Caymanians have unlimited opportunities if they obtain a sound education and develop a proper work ethic. 2026, you still feel the same way? That
Absolutely,
the opportunities are there for Caymanians?
Sir. Absolutely. But don't expect it to land in your lap. You got to get out there and push and get noticed, and do everything possible to make sure that you are the preferred candidate. employers, for the most part, want a superstar. They want someone that's going to work hard every day. They don't want somebody that's going to come to work late or complain all day. They want people who are going to be engaged. And I think we as Caymanians are in control of our destiny, and we can make that happen. And sir, again, the civil service that I took over in 2012 is not the civil service today. There were times when there were some people that, being completely dedicated was not a top priority. I don't see that today. I don't see that today.
Real quick, because we're almost down to the end of the line here. What's next for you?
Sir, more present son, more present father, a more present husband, a better friend. I have not spent a lot of time with my friends. I got some great West Bay friends that we have been friends from the time I was 12 years old, but I have not spent the amount of time that I would love with them. Fear failure, but be terrified of regret. And I don't want to have a regret that I did not spend time with my mother, with my family, and with my friends. So I told my team, feel good for your deputy governor because he's leaving when he is ready, and he's going to be able to spend some quality time with the people that mean most to him. So
when you get to do that a little bit, any possibility of politics down
No,
the line?
sir. No, sir.
You didn't even have to think about that.
No, sir. That's not in my thing. I sit it down at Parliament. That's not for me, sir. I think I have served my country well for 44 years.
You have.
And I am going to give those opportunities to somebody else.
The Honorable Franz Manderson, thank you for your service.
Thank you.
You've done it well.
Thank you, sir.
And thank you for taking the time to join me this afternoon.
It's been a pleasure, sir.
Nice close-up interview with you.
Thank you.
It's 1:00. Let's see what's making headlines.
We are Radio Cayman,
covering Cayman Brac, Little Cayman, and Grand Cayman.
1 in a million. From Radio Cayman's newsroom, this is Headlines. Local, regional, international news.
The Headline News is brought to you by Kirk Market and Health Services Authority.
Cayman Finance has wrapped up its 2026 Fundamentals of Financial Services workshops for Year 9 students with 60 participants from St. Ignatius Catholic School, Hope Academy, and Grace Christian Academy. The 6-part series covered key concepts such as how money is made, the economy, markets, companies, and government finances. Sessions were led by Daniel Hennings, Cayman Finance's Director of Finance, Operations, and Community Engagement. Good afternoon, I'm Dion Anglin with your headlines. In news elsewhere, 3 people have died during World Cup celebrations in Mexico City, including a 19-year-old woman, a 48-year-old woman, and a 44-year-old man also suffocated as more than 1 million fans flooded the streets after Mexico's 2-0 win over Ecuador, the country's first World Cup knockout victory since 1986. And 2 people climbed to the top of the Empire State Building today, unfurling a banner reading, "When the power of love beats the love of power, the world knows peace." The pair stood on the spire, then moved to a lower platform where one appeared to propose. They remained atop the 1,454-foot landmark for about 10 minutes. New York police have released no further details. That's a wrap of your headlines. I'm Dion Anglin.
More news available at www.radiocayman.gov.ky. Check out our social media pages: Facebook, YouTube, X, formerly Twitter, Radio Cayman Headline News.
Looking for fresh, healthy food that's full of flavor? Then you've got to visit Kirk Market. Our dishes are made with fresh, high-quality ingredients. Enjoy vibrant mixed greens or satisfying pasta salads. Or try one of our delicious grill options like blackened chicken, spicy beef steak, or grilled salmon. Looking for something light and flavorful? We've got sushi rolls and poke bowls prepared daily. And don't forget to explore a hot bar or Billy Fresh salad at the salad bar. Stop by Kirk Market today for breakfast, lunch, or dinner and taste the difference. Eat well, live well with Kirk Market.
Your Cayman Islands Health Services Authority has been the national healthcare provider of the Cayman Islands for many generations. We have elevated our level of care to ensure you, our patients, have the best possible experience. We offer better access to care close to home with the most locations on all 3 islands, delivering a full range of primary, secondary, tertiary, and emergency care. HSA is a JCI accredited organization, and we are committed to caring for you.
Radio Cayman is pleased to feature this special Sister Islands historical vignette brought to you by the Ministry of District Administration and Lands. Explore your history, explore your land, explore your Sister Islands.
Holroy Eric Lorenzo Walton, born on August 13, 1936 in Bogasan, Cayman Brac, was not only an avid artist and seaman. Affectionately named Roy, he also made significant impacts in the construction industry, founding H&A Construction in 1972 and working on landmark projects. He was also a passionate educator, hosting free art classes for children and fostering creativity through an annual art competition at Spot Bay Primary School. Roy and his wife Anne were dedicated to preserving the heritage of the Sister Islands, designing the lighthouse statue at the Cayman Brac and Little Cayman's Seamen's Center. Roy's efforts in collecting and displaying seafaring history ensured that the stories of Caymanian seafarers would be passed down to future generations. His life's work continues to resonate with the community and beyond.
Radio Cayman is pleased to feature this special Sister Islands historical vignette brought to you by the Ministry of District Administration and Lands. Explore your history, explore your land, explore your Sister Islands.
It's here. Multi-year trade and business licenses are now available. You heard right. You can apply for TBLs up to 5 years. Save time, reduce paperwork, and focus on growing your business. Apply online at dci.gov.ky. Apply for your multi-year trade and business licenses today.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today. What is on your mind, Cayman?
Welcome back. Let's take a quick look at the weather. The current temperature here in Georgetown, 90 degrees, but it feels like 107. The wind out of the east to northeast at 5 to 10 knots, and seas running 2 to 4 feet. The afternoon forecast calls for isolated showers. And taking a quick look here at the radar on the 30-mile range here, yeah, we got a few spots of rain around Grand Cayman, and over in the Sister Islands, just about the same thing. So might get a little sprinkle now and then through the afternoon. Let's see what the forecast for tonight calls for partly cloudy skies, becoming cloudy at times with a 30% chance of showers. Temperatures will be in the low 80s. Wind east at 5 to 10 knots, seas running at 2 to 4 feet. And today, as far as the tides are concerned, we got low tide coming up at 4:12 this afternoon, and high tide at 11:15 tonight. And tomorrow morning we'll have another low at 5:26. Sunset this evening is at 7:06, and the outlook is for spotty showers to continue into Friday as the instability lingers across the area from the passage of a tropical storm to the south and a trough to the north. So, watch out for those isolated showers there. Well, it's open line, and the numbers to call. You want to have a little say here? Tell us what's on your mind. 1-800-534-8255. And that's courtesy of Flo. You can also reach the studio at 949-8037, 949-6990. and the WhatsApp number 925 3261. And looking around, I see, the governor in the throne speech announced that we're going to be having a new boundary commission. During the speech there, the throne speech, she announced that she'll be appointing a new commission that they will aim to have a finished report by the spring of 2027. And, boundary commissions always, spark some debate, sometimes lots of debate, depending on exactly what the recommendation is. For instance, when we talk about combining certain districts, the whole idea is to have a real balance, among the different electoral districts. And right now there is, you can find a number of imbalances as far as the number of electors that are in a particular district compared to others. And that small group of electors have as much weight as, a district that has, twice the number of electors. And that's one of the things that has been very much, what do you call it? Say the barricade, the obstacle, because people hold on to traditions. Bring up the proposal of combining, say, East End and North Side. Oh boy, and you're going to get a lot of pushback on that. If you want even want an even bigger row, you might say, well, why does Cayman Brac and Little Cayman have two representatives? Maybe that should just be one, because they've got like 1,100 electors in Cayman Brac, Little Cayman together, but they have two representatives. Meanwhile, a place like Bontown West has 1,700 electors. Prospect, my district, right, 1,400, only got one. But Sister Island's punching above their weight there with two representatives, and you want to have a row, put that on, put that on the table. To say, well, they don't need two. One can serve that number of people, just like one can serve 1,700 people. Well, we have to pause here. Okay, we got a call. Okay, well let's take that call, because we do have some guests waiting to come in. But let's take the call.
Hi, Mr. Glidden. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. How are you doing?
Fine. I was supposed to call back on yesterday, but I was busy. Every time I try to call in about one topic, you're talking about something else, and it causes me to throw my thoughts off and have to talk about what you're talking about. But leave Cayman Brac and Little Cayman alone. They need two representatives.
They do?
And dry, full stop. Yes, sir, because when you pass water in place and go up to the east, that's one entire district. And there are lots of people residing in that area. And, of course, the other areas, have to cover Little Cayman and the other half of Cayman Brac. So we're good there. But quickly, I want to say on the... I'm not sure. I didn't read the report. I don't know if it may be worthwhile getting a new boundary commission, but I will say this. I attended the Georgetown meeting after the last commission made their findings, and I attended the Bordentown meeting, and I wasn't too favorable about the lady that was brought in, a consultancy that they have used before, and her forthcoming just wasn't, tactful to me. But in attending the Bordentown district meeting, I also didn't agree with their findings of what she was suggesting, that they should rename the districts and rename them, say, Georgetown 1, Georgetown 2, Georgetown 3, and so forth and whatnot. I was in agreement that Bordentown needs a new boundary. And, MP Seymour rightly said if they were going to give Bordentown a third district, we should do as we do in Georgetown and West Bay, east, west, north, south, central, whatever. So those recommendations, I was, pretty much in agreement with coming from them, and with MP Seymour. He was Minister Seymour at the time. But it may be worth a good fresh, outlook to install a new commission. I think Mr. McPhail and Miss Miles, respectively, honorable. That they did a pretty, wholesome and decent job, and like I said, some of their recommendations were favorable, but it might be good to do a new commission for sure. And let me get back to my other topic now that I called on Monday with the sub-meters for the utilities, especially water and CUC. I think it's high time that government looks at the way that these meters are being utilized, the very fact that, of course, we need these meters, but especially water. I find that water meters needs to be the same as it is with every individual unit. And I mean, if there's individual apartments, not if there's an apartment attached to a main house or something like that you can't put an actual CUC meter on separately. But I feel that government needs to make some new amendments or new acts or legislation or whatever they want to call it, and to govern these sorts of things, because I have had so many complaints, especially about water bill and electrical bill. There's nowhere for customers to go. As you and I had discussed the other day, we've now seen the government endeavoring to bring before the Parliament the amendments to the Residential Tenancies Act, but I am not too sure that these sorts of issues will be entirely covered under this act under this bill, if and when it's passed and becomes an act. And so these are utilities that are separate and apart. And I think, for example, a property that has 11 units, right? And the landlord has some really old anyway, he placed the meters there himself, and the apartments have been there from the 80s. And so these meters are then hooked up to a main water authority meter. Water authority has no say, and the landlord reads the meters from the numbers are there. Many of the numbers are worn out and can't be seen. And so tenants are being charged exorbitant amount of water bills because of this, and water authority say they can't do anything. It's like CUC saying we can't do anything.
How does that work? That the water comes in through the water authority meter,
right,
and then goes to these sub meters, which the landlord does the reading on.
Yes.
And so he can charge the tenant at whatever rate he wants to charge her, or she wants to charge.
Yes, exactly. And then there's, for example, in this case, there's a laundromat also hooked up to this same meter that runs on a separate landlord-installed meter. And I've received a number of complaints about similar situations where people are getting cheated out of having to pay for water expenses that they have. A lot of these people are not stupid. They know they haven't used that amount of water.
Yeah. So the landlord is making a profit on what he pays to the water authority coming into his property.
Well, sir, I can't say that for sure. I won't endeavor to say that, but I can say that the way that the billing is going is not fair, and it's not. I wouldn't say it's even accurate either, because based on what I have seen in my own the area that I live in, the property that I live in, and what other people have shared with me, it's not accurately. It's not accurately.
That's just an ad hoc. He just charges them whatever he wants to charge them.
Yes, and I think it's time that government takes an urgent look at this, because as we see now, utilities are going up. That's the other thing I wanted to mention to you about CUC, but we see both utilities, these are primary utilities, are now going up a few cents over this summer, and so that is going to be more usage for customers and tenants especially. And so we have to take a step back now and look, because CUC is hands off, but they're saying their sub-meters have to be approved by planning. Water Authority doesn't have anyone governing their sub-meters, so it's just the landlord comes and says, or the owners comes and says, hey, I need a sub-meter, this is what I'm going to put in, and then it runs through Water Authority. But who governs and takes care, make sure that the tenants are not, I mean, the government is placed there to look out for the people, whether we're tenants or owners. And so I want to call on behalf of the government to take a look at this. Water Authority and CUC board members, but especially Water Authority board members and chair, whatever they call these people, these invested shareholders, they need to sit back and take a look. I know that there's 4 people in the property where I live that have had concerns, that's gone to Water Authority and get similar feedback. There's nothing that the authority can do. But
well, listen, we're gonna have to leave it right there for now.
Have to leave it right there, and I'll be calling back.
But we can pick it up again.
Okay, thank you.
All right, you take care. Well, right now we're going to turn to some guests in the studio. In this segment, we're going to be hearing from the Cayman International Girl Youth Development Program. Some of their young ladies will be heading for Atlanta, Georgia later this month. And joining me now to tell us more are co-director Priscilla Pucci and also Josefa Martinez, the mother of Young Miss Queen 2026. Ladies, welcome to the studio.
Thank you. Good afternoon.
Thank you. Good afternoon.
So, refresh our memories about what the Cayman International Girl Youth Development Program is all about.
So, as you mentioned, it is a youth development program. It's geared at ladies of all ages, even though we have a special concentration on youth. So we have 9 age divisions ranging from babies. We've had babies as young as 6 months, right up to married women with children. And what we focus on is building character through etiquette training, on-stage performance, public speaking, national events, and community service. So we try to provide opportunities throughout the year for all of our participants, especially those who win their respective age divisions, while they're reigning to assist in different activities and participate in volunteer service.
So this is an ongoing thing. It's not just in preparation for a pageant.
No. So the girls who win their age division, they are required to continue certain duties throughout their reign, of course. But the other participants who maybe got first runner-up or whatever their position would be, they're still encouraged to come and participate in certain events with us. So any kind of parades, we do have a breakfast of champions just after we return to Cayman from our international competition. They're all invited to participate in those events.
Now, Josefa, you are the mother of Young Miss Queen 2026.
I am.
Very proud? You said that very proud?
Because I am very proud. I'm proud of her and myself.
Yeah, you had a lot to do with it, right?
Yes, I did.
But other than the fact that she won, what else about her participation that you're glad that she was a part of this?
Like Ms. Priscilla was saying, that it also teaches them public speaking confidence, also how to have etiquette in public places. In addition to that, it also teaches them about community service and volunteering. So there's different things that it takes place with. For example, last year she didn't win an overall queen. She did get first runner-up, and she was still very much a part of the whole process, and she did contribute to every single event that the pageant did have, the youth development program did have, even if she didn't win, because it also assists with her being better in the coming years, as well as for her in public areas like her school, her her events, everything that she has to participate in. So I'm very proud of that, and I'm very glad that she's able to get that exposure with the development program.
Now, when she came in second, did she learn from that also?
Very much so, which is why she came this year, and she conquered it all. She was able to see what her weaknesses were, where her strengths were, and she was able to strengthen the weaknesses and also ask for advice and also practice and make sure that she came. And she did good consistently throughout the whole pageant, and she won the whole title because she realized what was lacking last year, and she basically practiced a lot to get it done this year.
So the ladies are going to be heading off to Atlanta?
Yes, that's correct.
When is that going to happen?
We'll be leaving on the 17th of this month.
What happens there?
So we go to the U.S. It's always in the U.S. It's a different state each year, and they will compete against other girls from within the U.S. at different states, obviously. And it's a week-long competition, so each day there are different categories they'll compete in, such as interview, talent, they
formal,
have
casual,
modeling. And then there's also modeling, entertainer of the year. It is a talent-based program.
They even have community service queen.
Yes.
So
there's an award for the girl who does the most community service. They have a point system for that. So it's a long week of competing and parties and just having fun and making friends, a lot of networking opportunities. And like Josepha said, we do have a lot of girls who come back and recompete the next year because, in my opinion, it's really a social club for the girls. And all the participants, they get to make friends locally and overseas. And they enjoy participating in a lot of these activities that we do throughout the year. So we do have several people who return, either moving into a new age category or recompeting for a higher placement in their current age category.
Correct. And in addition to that, we also raise funds for local charities like Meals on Wheels, as well as the cancer.
Yes, we did the Breast Cancer Foundation this year. Each year we have a different charity of choice, and so the girls are required to participate in certain fundraisers, and all those funds raised will go towards that charity.
So with the Community Service Award, what do they submit a resume, or how does that work?
Well, yes, basically for the International Community Queen Award, they're required to keep track of all of their community service. There's different points allocated depending on the type of service that was provided, and then essentially the person who has the most points will win that award.
So locally, I just want to say this out loud. My daughter won Community Queen locally this year because she actually racked up the most points in the community service area, which consisted of baking goods for the police station, fire station, dropping off treats or providing clothes or for charity or the needy, or as well as she did go to the shelter to pet the cats or the dogs, so that assists with the point system as well.
Yeah, things like beach cleanup as well. Yes. And this was the first year that we gave that award locally.
Yes.
Now you say it's open to ladies of all ages?
That's right. Yes.
So give us what's your oldest competitor?
Well, not this year, but in a previous year, our oldest competitor we've ever had, she was 60 years old.
Wow.
Yes, and she actually participated with her two granddaughters. So we have a lot of sisters competing together in different divisions, mom and daughter. And in that case, it was a grandmother and her two grandkids.
So this year is mainly just, teenagers and young girls?
Yes, our oldest queen this year is a teen.
Yes.
So what's it like for them to, come from Little Cayman and go to the big stage in the States and compete against all these people from, the big country?
Well, our girls are very well prepared, very well trained. I think we do the most training, in comparison to the other states, because we are so small and we can get together regularly and do that, you know. And we've had several international title winners every year that we've competed in the last 12 years. We've had at least one competitor from Cayman get an international title.
So that's very good. I mean,
yes.
So Miss Priscilla and the other director, Miss Ivana Martinez, dedicate themselves to ensuring that the girls are prepared and ready, and they hold practices, and they make sure the girls walk properly, speak properly, present themselves properly, dress properly.
Yes.
Everything
We go through
in
all
order for them
aspects
to
of
be
that.
ready, because we're not going to embarrass our little island. So they're ready. When they go away, they are prepped and ready.
And we're very well received when we do go overseas as well, because not only the training, but, you know, people are so intrigued to hear about Cayman. Everybody that we meet over there, they're like, oh yeah, we want to come down and visit you guys. So we've hosted several of our friends from the U.S. as well. Just earlier this year, we had one of the coordinators from the U.S. come with her family. And we always, you know, make a big show for them. We take them to Stingray City, we go snorkeling, we take them out to some restaurants.
Local
and
souvenirs, everything.
really spend time with them. And then, as Josepha was just mentioning, one of the requirements for the overseas competition and the local competition is for each contestant to provide souvenirs to the other contestants. And so, you know, we try to make our souvenirs something unique, something Caymanian, so that they can have a little bit of knowledge about us and a little piece of Cayman.
So what's the youngest young lady that's going to be going up to Atlanta this year?
This year we have a little 1-year-old. She's
a
our
1-year-old.
Yes, she's our baby Miss Queen.
She actually won.
Lila Dilbert, shout out. So yeah, she'll be traveling with us, and then we have 3 other girls who competed in her category this year. They're also going to be traveling. They're 2 and 3 years old, and then straight up through junior teen. Our oldest girl is 16 this year.
Okay. We have to pause here, take a little break, but we'll be right back.
Accidents and illnesses can strike without warning. Ouch! When it comes to urgent care, every second counts. At Doctors Hospital, we have a dedicated team of experienced doctors and nursing staff available to you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Don't waste time in an overcrowded emergency room when you need urgent care. Whether it's a broken bone, a severe infection, or a sudden illness, trust in Doctors Hospital's unwavering dedication to providing the best immediate care. For complete urgent care when you need it the most, choose Doctors Hospital, located in Georgetown, 16 Middle Road.
Cineco's parametric insurance after hurricanes is now available for motor policies. Fixed automatic payouts cover incidental vehicle expenses like fuel, cleanup, and minor repairs. No claims, no damage required. $200 for comprehensive policies or $100 for third-party policies. Available exclusively through Cineco and included with all new motor insurance policies and upon renewal for current policies. Visit Cineco.ky today. Cineco. Keeping Cayman covered.
Wouldn't it have been grand if you had purchased land 30 years ago? It may not be 2020, but a perfect vision has never been more clear. Cayman Brac and Little Cayman, poised for growth with an eye on the future. Your land, your history, your future. Discover all that our sister islands have to offer.
When life feels busy, it's time to slow down and tune in. Breeze 105.3 FM gives you the timeless hits, smooth favorites, and the music that feels like home.
Words cannot express how much you mean to me.
Switch now and ride the breeze.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today. What is on your mind, Cayman?
Welcome back. We're hearing about the Cayman International Girl Youth Development Program. In the studio with me are co-director Priscilla Pucci and Josepha Martinez, who is the mother of Young Miss Queen 2026. Now, you say, in this information sheet I have here, it says you focus on building strong character. How do you go about doing that?
It's really amazing how shy, how terrified some of these girls are when they start the program. It takes a lot of nurture, and examples from their companions, their peers as well, to get some of them to even go on that stage. And, you know, we both have a lot of stage experience, so we can speak to nerves and what a difference an audience makes. But as I mentioned, we spend a lot of time with the girls. We have others come in and teach them things like etiquette. We do go through interview, public speaking. We spend weeks practicing those things leading up to the local competition. We try to keep them active during the months leading up to international as well. But it just kind of is embedded in them as they watch their competitors do the same thing, you know, especially having children as young as 2 and 3 years old, getting up there and performing their talents, you know, speaking into the mic, remembering their routines and things like that. Some of them come to orientation and they're just nervous and they give themselves some time, you know. They maybe wait and come back the next year. We've had some participants as well kind of spilling over from the Prospect Cultural Pageant. Shout out to Prospect Primary School.
Shout out.
But yes, we've worked with that school as well to help organize their pageant. And so we've met some of those girls there. And just through that small experience at their school, you know, that helps to boost their confidence as well.
Yes.
Things like tips about personal grooming and stuff like that, you know, you feel good when you look good. Those small little things make such a big difference in helping to build their confidence. And then being out in the community as well, again, networking, seeing the, you know, Miss Universe winners, the Miss Teen winners, it gives them more aspiration, more inspiration to keep going and to just continue progressing on their journey.
So it really widens their horizon.
Absolutely, so, yes. And I mean, even things like, you know, we've planned trips to the museum. Some of them had never been to the National Museum. They're taking in a lot of information like that, traveling to the Sister Islands, learning
Pines, all of those
even
places,
about,
yep.
we were having bake sales recently. And my parents have a lot of produce at their house, and we had a surplus of neeseberries, so we took them out to the bake sale. And some of the girls had never seen a neeseberry before.
Really?
Yes. Some of them, that's how different the generations are, right?
Yes.
And we don't have a lot of wild fruit growing on the streets.
No.
So just
I
even
bet a
little
lot of kids
things
don't know
like
what
that.
a coconut plum is.
They don't know what a cocoa plum is.
So even just little things like that being integrated and embedded in them, it really, really does open their eyes a lot.
And you've been doing some fundraising? So
we've been doing a lot of
fundraising, which is also something that helps them with their character as well, because they're able to speak in public and say, hello, good afternoon, would you like to buy a ticket or would you like to buy a baked good? You know, they have to be able to say that to the customers. We try not to say it because we're older and we can say it, but we say to them, try it, go ahead and try it. And when the public sees these kids doing that, they go, how can we say no to a face like this or a sweet person like this or someone who can actually public speak like that? I'm sure you've met her daughter the last time she came, and that is a little talking machine that speaks so properly and is able to engage with the community and the public in order for them to be able to support. You know, so that's something that we do. And you can catch us at all the Foster's locations sometimes, mostly in Savannah's location. On Mondays, Fridays, and Saturdays, we'll be there, you know, requesting for someone to buy a ticket or a baked good, and then you'll be able to win prizes off of the tickets. But right now, we want to support, we want to promote actually our Fun Day, which is coming up on Monday.
Yeah, so again, a big thank you to Foster's and Costulas and all the other establishments that have allowed us to come out over the weeks and do our fundraising. Yes. And so we have one last big fundraiser before we go. We are hosting a Fun Day on Monday. It's a public holiday, Constitution Day. It's going to be at the Airport Park from 11 a.m. till 5 p.m. And we'll have various, you know, stations out there. We have some free games. It's free entry for everyone. And then we have some games which have a small cost associated. And we also have food on sale out there on Monday as well.
So what kind of food?
We will have Cayman style beef, we'll have curry shrimp, and we'll have barbecue chicken. And then, of course, we'll have the sides, white rice, rice and beans, coleslaw, potato salad, rolls.
Mac and cheese.
We'll have drinks. Yes.
So you can get a full lunch.
Yes.
Good lunch. Come
Full
out
lunch.
and support us, and you'll leave with a full belly.
So even if you're passing by with no kids, you can stop on by and grab some lunch.
Grab some lunch.
So that's at the airport park.
Yes.
And what time?
11 a.m. till 5 p.m.
Okay. Now, Josefa, it sounds like you're much more than just a pageant mom. Sounds like you're involved right into the thrust of things.
I don't have a choice.
No, that's legit. So in addition to the girls having their responsibilities, the parents have a lot of responsibility
Really?
as well. Yes.
Yes.
Especially in the guidance of the group, because we're together a lot.
Yes.
Sometimes they may have to give a ride to another girl home.
Right.
Things like that. They do get close. Maybe they want to have a little play date outside of what we're doing. And then to make things like this work, it takes a lot of organization.
So we have to
Ivana and
also-
I
yep.
can't do everything.
No.
So we do rely quite heavily on the parents. And they're all very involved, thankfully.
So what has it been like for you? Supporting your daughter, helping with the organization.
My daughter is very involved in a lot of different things, so it's a lot of work. However, I do like supporting her as well as the directors with whatever they ask me. It's been a very good experience for me as well, because that also shows me to have a little bit more patience with children, as well as understand them more and see how much they've grown as well. So for me, it's been very good. I really like it. I really enjoy it. I hope that I can continue to assist even after my daughter has passed on her crown. I'm sure that I'll be able to volunteer with them with their cooking and their baking and their assisting with picking up and dropping off. That way that it's easier for them. This program is very good for kids. It assists them in life. It will help them when they grow up. It will help them when they move on. So I want to continue helping with that. For me, I will say it is a very rewarding experience, and I like it a lot.
So you think they learn a lot of life lessons?
Of course they do. Yeah. My daughter was confident from the beginning, but what I've noticed with her is that because she has been, before the pageant, before the youth program, she's always been a part of like the parties or going to sit down and watch it. We've watched it a few years. And I've never heard her say, I want to enter it, I want to do this. But then when she got to the age of 10, she started to get this itch, and she goes, Mommy, I really want to enter this because I think I can do what they can do. And she's already been in dance classes, so she already knows how to dance. She's never been on stage to speak, but she goes, I want to do it too. I was like, what? I was so shocked when she actually said that, and because I don't like pageants. I just want to say that out loud. But I do like supporting my daughter.
Yeah.
So because it is not just a pageant, you win and you go sit down and you don't do nothing after that. This actually gives them, character, builds etiquette, builds all kind of, things for them to learn with the volunteering, with the selling, with the public speaking, with the confidence. I said, well, it's going to reward her. It's going to reward her in life more than just winning. So I said, okay, let's do this. But you have to be dedicated. I'm not going to waste my time and put you in this and you're not dedicated. So that is, you have to be disciplined as well. It teaches you discipline. It teaches you dedication. You have to practice. You're not killing yourself, but you have to practice in order to be the greatest, the best, or one of the best, or assist with being the best. So I supported her, and I'm now a pageant mom. And I said, okay, let's do this. So when she did ask to be in it, she's been in it now from last year to this year, 2 years now, and she's loving it, and she's doing a great job, and I'm very proud of her, and I'll continue to support her as long as she wants to be in it or any other youth development program, as long as it rewards her.
How long did you say you've been doing this?
Since 2015. Her personally,
yeah.
or the program
the
itself?
Program.
Yes, we've been operating Cayman since 2015. Yes.
So any of the former winners or contestants that went through this program, that you're proud of them as they went on and got older?
Absolutely. So many of them actually have said, how much just the interview practice and things like that have helped them get jobs, in their careers and things like that, connections that they've made as well. And then, like you mentioned, just
reference
opening their
letters.
eyes to different fields, and the reality of what's going on in life. As we mentioned, our charity this year was the Breast Cancer Foundation. So what we started doing in recent years was actually having a representative from the organization come in and speak to the girls and the parents, obviously, making it age appropriate because we do have some younger kids. But it really opens up their eyes to certain things. So for this year, I think a lot of people, not just the kids, were shocked to find out that, cancer does not discriminate. There's been children who have had breast cancer, men who have had breast cancer. So, I think those things really help the children a lot.
And right now, like you just asked, if anyone has gone on to do great things, we actually have 2 contestants at the moment.
Yes, I was just going to mention that. So in addition to their personal career choices and things like that, we have one contestant, past queen from our pageant, who is now competing in the Miss Teen Cayman Islands pageant, number 2, Anaí Martinez Castro. I know they were in here recently as well. And then Miss Ivana, who is very, very ambitious, just recently got another pageant franchise. So she is now the national director for the Miss Teen Universe Cayman Islands. And our current delegate, our current queen for that pageant, also a member of IGP since she was about 5 years old.
Yes.
She's held various titles within this pageant, which qualified her to hold that title of Miss Teen Universe Cayman Islands.
And they will be traveling to Cambodia to represent the Cayman Islands as Miss Teen
that's
Universe.
far away.
Yes. And that is what the pageant does, prepare them to move forward.
So we're very excited to kind of have that expansion, that spin-off, and that opportunity for our girls, again, to reach further and to go harder. Moving from this system is kind of a stepping stone if they want to enter any other system.
And we have past ones as well, like Kevian Pierre.
Yes.
Who she also entered Miss
World Cayman
Islands as well, and she's won overseas and she's won in our pageant as well, and she's also moving on to do great things as well. Great job and everything.
So tell us again how people can support you.
So right now, like we mentioned, we'll be doing the raffle ticket sales and the bake sales over the next coming weeks, mainly on the weekends. And then we do have our big fun day on Monday, July the 6th at the airport park, free entry for all. And we're hoping that the public comes out and supports us in that venture, as they always do. Always so generous, the Cayman community. So we're hoping that will be a huge success in helping our delegates meet their goals to assist with the travel to Atlanta.
That is Monday, and that is Monday, July 6th from 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. And Airport Park. And other than that, we have the bake sales on Mondays, Fridays, and Saturdays at Savannah location Foster's.
Yes, and we will be putting out things on our social media as well. So if you're interested in registering for next year, just kind of watching what we're up to, we are on Instagram and Facebook at as Cayman International Girl, and we'll be posting on there where we will be having those raffle and bake sales in the coming weeks. And then, yes, please come out to the fun day on Monday, July 6th at the airport park.
All right. Well, thank you so much for coming in. And I'm sure you're going to be having a big success, as you usually do.
Yay.
Thank you for having us. We appreciate it.
We're going to take a break. We'll be right back with more Talk Today.
Freedom, Cayman Brack. Freedom, Little Cayman. Soft breezes, blue waters, no traffic. Unwind and rejuvenate your mind, body, and soul. Sister Island Staycations, a taste of freedom. Discover all that our sister islands have to offer.
Are you looking for more weekend getaways with Friday flights? Well, Cayman Airways has added Friday flights to Panama for a limited time this summer. They're perfect for short and long weekend getaways, quick business trips, or easy connections across Latin America. And if Jamaica is on your summer wish list, seasonal summer flights to Montego Bay are also available. Call Cayman Airways on 949-2311, contact a travel agent, or visit CaymanAirways.com. See you on board our Friday flights to Panama this summer.
Hi, this is Gary King from Totally 80s. My special guest this week is Carol Decker from Tapao. Carol talks about the changing face of the music biz. I'll also bring you the latest news on the biggest stars of the decade.
This is Totally 80s.
Heard on Saturdays from 2 until 4 p.m. on Breeze 105.3 and 91.9. And brought to you with the kind compliments of KFC.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today. What is on your mind, Cayman?
Welcome back, and we've got about 11 minutes or so before we go to the news. If want to give me a ring, now is the time to do it. You can call me on 1-800-534-8255. That is courtesy of Flo. You can also reach me on 949-8037, 949-6990, or WhatsApp 925-32 to 61. And, well, looks like England came through, against, was it DR Congo? Yep. 2-1, England. It's go England. Harry Kane scoring in the 75th and the 86th minute there. And things are getting, really hot here as we come down to the 16. And let me see how things are shaping up here anyway. So right now it's Canada and Morocco. And then Brazil and Norway. Is that, yeah? Round of 16. Mexico will be going up against England. Watching Mexico last night. They did the job, all right. Paraguay and France. They'll be coming up Saturday. And what is it? Still more slots to be filled there. And let me see if is that right? Yeah. So that's right now. That's how it is. Everybody, ready to stay up at night and watch World Cup because some good matches coming up here, and everybody will be preoccupied over the weekend, I guess. For World Cup fans, don't bother them. Don't bother them on the weekend, right? Maybe don't even bother them tonight or any day this week as these games get played out. Well, before we get to that interview, I was talking about the proposed, well, I guess it's not really proposed. The governor has said that she'll be appointing a new boundary commission, and that's always a matter for discussion and debate, as there's always a call for change, and sometimes people, they don't like change, right? They like things to stay the status quo. There's traditional reasons why they would not want any kind of boundaries to be changed, and of course political reasons, right? Some people might feel themselves weakened by any kind of change that might come about in the boundaries. But it is important that, there's some equality among the various, electoral districts, because right now there is imbalance, as I'd mentioned before. And just, looking through this, I mean, you have Bodden Town, and this is what, these numbers are from April this year. This is on the Elections Office website. And so you've got, a place like Bodden Town West, with 1,742, Bodden Town East with 1,763, and then you've got Kemenbrack West and Little Cayman 602, Kemenbrack East 510. Is that the way we want to run things as far as the number of electors in the different districts, and how do we go about making things more equal, joining them together? I do think we have a caller there. Good afternoon. You're on the air.
Yeah, good afternoon to you. I'm Charlo here.
Yes. Hello.
Hello, everybody's checking up with it. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I'm hearing you good.
Yeah, good. Thank you. No, there's problems with the flow lines up. Anyhow, yeah, everybody's taking up with that, and it's very interesting how it's working out. Work up in there, and of course, many of these great stars, they only play with their home team once every 4 years and that. So I fancy, and I'm no great aficionado at soccer, but I've seen it played a little bit school days and many years now. I fancy that the Senior Cup matches, European Cup and the British Premier League matches, many times those matches are better, in my mind, than some of the World Cup matches, because, like I say, they're not playing together all the while.
Yeah.
These guys, they have to go to Europe and England to make the big money. So that's just a reality. Many of the African guys you can see are getting to be big stars and all the other teams also.
Africa well represented in this World Cup.
Well represented not only in their own teams, but in other teams that become citizens more or less of many countries right across the globe. They're really playing very well. So maybe Pele's words coming true. It might not be that an African team, but many of the teams might be majority African in descent.
Yeah.
Someone else was saying this to me, but also months ago that they will be supreme. Many times you hear this word international standards bandied about. When you say human rights according to international standards, we have to follow these dictates and so forth. But in reality, when you think about it, what are international standards? Whose standards are international standards? We have many countries who are well known in the world, several countries, particularly in Africa and on the Far East and so forth, that their human quality standards are atrocious, and we know they have very little regard for the women are treated less than animals sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Many of these countries, particularly in the Middle East there. And so do we go by their standards to measure things, or are they involved, or we ignore it, what they're doing, and they're members of the United Nations, some of them, and then we say, well, we have to obey the United Nations standards. What are they really? Sometimes I really wonder about that when we use these words, because I'd never like to know that we're using these countries to try to dictate.
To set the standards?
Set the standards on all policies here, human rights, and other things. You know, I just don't follow with that kind of thought. You know, we have to set our standards, and I think we more or less can say, well, this is what we expect of people who come to live in our country, that they would obey our principles. I believe we should be given that amount of latitude by our British rulers there to say, well, this is what we expect, and this is, you know.
Well, when it comes to human rights, I think the West has pretty much set the standard.
Yes, definitely. Definitely. We can curse and vilify it and say it, but we pretty much live in much greater peace here in the Western world, especially the Western world. When I say West, I mean over here, than anywhere else, even in Europe. Because there's wars there that have taken thousands and thousands of lives in the last 2-3 years, and that isn't really happening over here in the Western world, and by that I include South America. It just isn't happening, and I don't care what anyone wants to say, but I think that is due largely to the influence of the United States. We have to be frank and honest about it. But it bothers me sometimes when I hear, well, according to international standards, we have to do this. What international standards? What do we mean by that?
You want to know who set the standards?
Yeah, who really? Which if there's a standard you're saying international, then it must be set for the whole world, if that's what we're going to go by. Personally, I don't believe in this one world business. I never have. It's different, separate. And then we say, well, we want to preserve our culture. Which is right. But it's so. But then one world, we say, so what are we going to have? One culture? No, you know, I just don't believe in that. It's nice to sing these songs and let, you know, freedom and world peace and so forth.
We can have one love, though.
Yeah, we can have one love. I agree with that, what you say there. We can try to love everyone. But anyhow, I won't pull you back there. News time. I just thought that.
You know it. It's news time.
Someone to maybe pick up on it.
Mickey, good to hear from you.
Curse me out for it. I don't know. It doesn't even matter. Take care.
Oh, good afternoon. Well, you heard Mickey say it. It's news time. Let's see what's making headlines.
Briella Linton smashed her own national under-18 girls shot put record, throwing 14.54 meters on day one of the Cayman Athletics Junior and Senior Championships on the weekend. The 2026 Carifta medalist continues her rise as one of Cayman's standout young athletes. Good afternoon once again. I'm Dion Anglin with your headlines. In news elsewhere, Victor Willis, lead singer of The Village People, has died at the age of 74. Willis co-wrote and performed the group's biggest hits, including YMCA, Go West, and In the Navy. He was known for portraying characters such as a policeman and a naval officer as the band became global disco icons in the 1970s. And 5 people have died in a fire at a 10-story apartment block in Antwerp, Belgium. The blaze broke out on the 8th floor this morning, sending thick smoke through the building. More than 200 residents live in the block. Emergency crews evacuated 80 flats. Video showed one man climbing from his balcony into a neighbor's window to escape the smoke. That's a wrap of your headlines. I'm Dion Anglin.
www.radiocayman.gov.ky. Check out our social media pages: Facebook, YouTube, X, formerly Twitter, Radio Cayman Headline News.
Looking for fresh, healthy food that's full of flavor? Then you've got to visit Kirk Market. Our dishes are made with fresh, high-quality ingredients. Enjoy vibrant mixed greens or satisfying pasta salads. Or try one of our delicious grill options like blackened chicken, spicy beef steak, or grilled salmon. Looking for something light and flavorful? We've got sushi rolls and poke bowls prepared daily. And don't forget to explore a hot bar or Billy Fresh salad at the Salad Bar. Stop by Kirk Market today for breakfast, lunch, or dinner and taste the difference. Eat well, live well with Kirk Market.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today. What is on your mind, Cayman?
Welcome back, and let's get a little weather update here. The afternoon forecast is calling for isolated showers. Current temperature here in Georgetown, 91 degrees, but it feels like 107. And let's see here. Let's see. What else do we have here? And wind out of the east-northeast at 14 knots, and relative humidity of 69%. The forecast for this evening, tonight, we can expect partly cloudy skies, becoming cloudy at times with a 30% chance of showers. Temperatures in the low 80s. Winds will be east at 5 to 10 knots. Seas running at 2 to 4 feet. Sunset at 7:06. And the outlook is for spotty showers to continue into Friday. We have a couple of callers on the line, so let's go straight to the phone calls. Good afternoon. You're on the air with Talk Today. Hello?
Good afternoon, Jalo.
Yes, good afternoon.
Okay. We're speaking about human rights.
Mm-hmm.
And the Western world being a big part of creating and making the laws concerning human rights. And when it comes to human rights such as same-sex marriages, you see, when the Bible says that in World War III, America and England will be totally destroyed, you might say, well, Russia and China are doing things that are unrighteous, ungodly. But one thing Russia and China are not doing, they're not promoting no same-sex marriage. They're not promoting no gay pride. And you see, in the eyes of Jesus and God, those are horrible sins. Because if mankind continues living that way, then the world will totally go against God's will. When He created Adam and Eve. And they're continuing now to go so far with this now that I see even parents teaching their children this by letting them join them in gay prides, parades. You might say, well, why would Jesus and God allow such a horrible thing to happen to mankind? Because England and America have become Sodom and Gomorrah. And you know what's worse? You know what's worse than a nuclear war?
Or what?
And a nuclear disaster destroying the whole world. You know what's worse than that?
Tell me.
In the nuclear war, you die. You're killed. But when you go to hell, you don't die. And the heat in hell is worse than any nuclear weapon ever made. And that is going to be the last time and last chance for mankind to repent. Is the nuclear war. Thank you.
Okay. Have a good evening. You know, when we approach things from a religious standpoint, you know, it's all about people's belief, people's culture also, right? But you know, the argument can be made, well, God made those people too, you know. They didn't get up one morning and all of a sudden say, you know what, I have a good idea. I'm going to be gay from now on. You know, it's something much deeper than that. Well, let's take another call. Good afternoon. You're on the air.
Good afternoon, Mr. Charles.
Yes, good afternoon.
Yeah.
Is it too hot for you here?
Not a bit.
No? You're loving it?
Bit. You know, I have two questions about that because I heard you saying about it, say that feel like 107 degrees.
Mm-hmm.
I would like to know how they get that feel like temperature. And the second question, how in the world is it that in Europe they're having 103 degrees? I'm wondering if that is feel like temperature or the literal temperature.
Well, I guess I'm not sure, but it's probably what's on the you know, the thermometer.
The thermometer, yeah. Well, I don't know.
But you know, when there's the thermometer is not out in the sun or anything, right? It's in a shaded area.
Yeah.
Where air can pass through it. So, but go ahead.
Yeah, I see videos in Europe where it's like the asphalt is melting and things like this, and they got like water sprayed around all over the place for the tourists and water bottles, like, you know, fountains that you can fill up your water bottles and stuff. I don't know why Cayman don't try that here. Really, that'd be a really nice thing, you know. I see they like to sprinkle the water out in the fountains up by Camana Bay and the Grove, so I don't see no real reason to think that would be based in water, keeping us safe and hydrated, right? I was listening to your last caller, and I don't know. I really do believe that they do have those kind of people into the same-sex marriage and all those things, but I don't think that should be anything of a subject of gender identity or anything like that. That's a feeling, yo. That's a feeling. You know, back in the days, you know, I used to date one girl that she used to like football. They say she's a tomboy. I never looked at her like a lesbian or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
But they have those kind of people that are into that identity with the same class of people that are pushing that ideology, thinking that it's a support group for them. And really and truly, that's just a Trojan horse. I mean, you check it out. During World War II, you had the war with the Nazis, and those people, they were killing individuals that were into a certain ideology where it was like homosexuality and pornographic magazines and stuff. They were burning books about those things.
Well, they burn more books than just pornography.
Right. You know,
they burn some, you know, good books too.
Medical practices and all those things, you know. They was burning books of homosexualities and stuff like that. So I can't argue about that because that's something that the world has to deal with, and the devil has his ways, you know, because this is his domain, and God created it, but he casted him out of heaven. So anyways, I didn't want to talk about religion because in Europe they're being taken over by Muslims and they're calling it an invasion. So it's attacking Christian identity. But what I was thinking of, right, with what Mr. Micker was talking about with the human rights, I didn't get to hear the full discussion, but I caught on to a little bit. I gotta say this, right? We have one president up north, Donald Trump.
Mm-hmm.
The guy is a hell of a guy to reckon with. I don't care what anybody gotta say. They can think of it like this is the most unpopular opinion, whatever they want to say, right? But I found it very unbelievable. Up to 3 weeks ago, I was listening to him saying something about people in specific automotive companies that were trying to pass a bill for banning people from repairing their cars. Remember, we was talking about something about that with the recycling of vehicles and all those stuff, and throwing vehicles away and saying that they didn't want people to get car parts.
Mm-hmm.
If you remember, a couple of weeks ago, we were talking about that.
Yeah.
That's something that was from my interest into this thing. He just passed a bill now of the human rights of a man a mechanic or anyone should have the right to repair their vehicles. That sounds pretty crazy, but when you hear about them arresting people for fixing their cars and sending them to 7 years in prison, that's pretty serious.
Where is this happening?
In the United States of America.
That you can't fix your own car?
I would believe just like how the gun laws is, it would be in certain states they do not want you. Because remember, they have certain states that are trying to push this whole entire green energy business, that they want you to all be buying electrical vehicles. And it's mainly the car dealerships. I do not find it surprising at all.
I'm finding this hard to believe.
You can find it very hard to believe, but you trust me. If you see Donald Trump doing something, it is very true. So,
well, I don't know about that, but
yeah, that's why I say I'll stick with the unpopular opinion. So what I was trying to say now, right? You remember when they were when the car companies were saying, oh, they're not getting enough cars for sale, so they gotta have to cut the people from importing older vehicles.
I'm not sure. What?
Here in Cayman.
Oh, here in Cayman?
Places, yeah, I don't even want to call out no names because, like you say all the time, I don't want to call out nobody names or no companies' names or anything like that. But there was a push to ban people from importing cars, and didn't it pass? Now they have it that you can only import up to 2014 onwards.
No, I think it's not up to 214. It's what is it, 8 years or 7 years, something like that?
Cars as old as 8 years old. So
yeah, like right now in 2026, you can only go back to 2018 or something?
Yeah. So I was just thinking about our human rights, right? As we should protect it. If it is not a problem, or if it is becoming a problem, I think it should be addressed. But all of a sudden now, you start hearing other countries complaining about passing bills to protect human rights, and I would like to know what rights don't a human have? What rights don't a human have? Because I know what rights a human have, which is to live and to die, and I get it that some laws that have been radically passed, like in Canada, about the rights to sign medical participation for to commit suicide or something like this. Like if you want to die, you can actually go and get medical participation on that. And here in Cayman, I don't know, have we done something like that?
No, I don't think so. I don't think you can set up some that you end your life medically.
Yeah, because I hear that we passing a lot of bills now, and then we just have FIFA going on. Everybody is so distracted. There's so much important decisions being made in these times, and I hear everybody talking about it, and I'm like, yo, I don't participate in the football thing. No offense. I do respect the game and whatnot, but that's a big fat distraction, because now we're talking about parliament taking place now and all those stuff. How many people have actually tuned in to listen to what is going on in Parliament? And the youth Parliament is starting tomorrow or something, from what I'm hearing.
I think it's already on.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah. But if you look at it closely, you'd be surprised the number of people who aren't paying attention to what's going on in Parliament anyway. A lot of people, I know people who don't even listen to the news.
Yeah, they say they don't participate in politics, but then the first thing they do is complain why this is happening, why this is that, and all those things. And then when you tell them why, they dismiss it as in, that's stupid, that's not true, and blah, blah, blah. And then when you go and look, and you wouldn't believe what happened to me today. It's a constant repeat in history, and it's all done by Trojan horses, where they're distracting people with these, like what the last caller was talking about, gay parades and all these different types of weird things. Nothing is more terrible than serving your master after he's whipping you. There's people that are being flogged. I'm going to use that word, flogged into obedience, and that's not human right.
Well, no, there's no way.
It's not, but that's what they consider as human right. When you're flogged into obedience. So I'm a human.
That's in some very particular countries that would happen, though.
Okay, yeah. Now we talking. You see, this is the thing now. When I'm in a particular position to take sides on any religious aspect, but you see, they're bringing in all these religious ideologies into these laws.
Yeah. Well, I find that governing by religion is not the way to go.
Well, that if you look at it that way, I agree with you, because that is where the one world government is going. That is where that one world government, what Mr. Mickey was talking about. I do not see that one world care, that one world totalitarianism is not going to work in this world. There's going to be a lot of debt. There's going to be a lot of people that are being abandoned, ostracized, all because of this one world business and the digital identification, whatever they want to do with that. That is a part of the one world thing as well. And I'm not even speaking skeptical. This is things that are fact, and people dismiss it. People dismiss it 100% like you're crazy, and that's
I think one world, that whole one world thing, that's pie in the sky.
Yeah. That's like that they say that we have our storage up there and all that stuff. This is something that I think is they're slowly putting it into place, incentivizing it through different stuff. You're seeing the practices happen. Like for example, I've heard of the AI speaker, and I would believe this is India, and the people like Bill Gates was talking about how people how successful countries are. He's surprised that they're not pulling into this type of system, because places like India, come on now, places like India participating in his stupid ideas. And I call them stupid ideas because he came out to admit that he had autism. How can we as a first world country and citizens think of a person that has a big disability that he self-diagnosed himself as, because he's such an experimental person. He is influencing the world right now through the World Economic Forum, and we are here sitting down taking advice from these experts. That is crazy. Us in Cayman, we'd be like, where's the common sense? Of course it's not common sense when you got a scientist taking over the world. You're mad. These people are mad. Not all of them. I'm not going to paint the picture of all of them are mad, but most of them are. And all they need is a computer in the front of them and a lawyer that can write a bill to help pass something with some political influence. And a lot of money. Money that means you can't even count.
Listen, I was looking up what you mentioned there about repairing your own car.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think part of the complication comes because of so many cars have computers in them now, and there's software and all of that sort of stuff. And this is taken from Reuters here, the news agency. Says there is no federal law in the U.S. banning you from fixing your own car. However, a lack of comprehensive federal right to repair legislation means automakers are not legally forced to share diagnostic data, special tools, or software. This effectively locks out everyday owners and independent mechanics from completing many modern car repairs because of all the software and all that is involved in it, that you have to have specialized, diagnostic equipment and know how to have the software dealt with. But I saw something else here where, you were talking about President Trump, that he had a meeting with the U.S. auto maker leaders, and apparently now they're committed to sharing manuals, and instructions on how to repair modern cars, because even some of the independent, mechanics had trouble dealing with it because they didn't have access to the information and the diagnostics to deal with, modern computerized cars. So I think that's the complication there.
Yeah, it's very complicated when we want to try to live a lazy native society. It's just as bad as alienation with parents. Taking parents and taking their rights away from them by giving their children rights now is taking parents' rights away. That's another complicated subject right there. Those people here in this island, for example, have no clue. I believe a lot of people, parents especially, have no clue of the problem that this is introducing when it comes into how children are using technology and they have the right to use these technologies and stuff. That's another crazy thing. I heard about countries that have been pushing for the ban on social media for under 16, and how they...
We're among them.
Right?
I think the UK is doing it too, France, Australia.
Right, Australia and them countries. Yeah, you see, if I was to tell you one way how we can beat that system and making it work, how they say in the complication of passing this thing, you see when you make parents have the responsibility for their children again, and make the parents have to take their stuff away from the children. It's not that the children need it. It's a babysitter, like what my elders would say. It has become a babysitter, and now the children are taking care of themselves with these tablets. From the minute that the parents take these devices away, there's going to be a withdrawal. You know how it should be a crime for children to have withdrawal symptoms, Mr. Charles, if you get what I mean. They shouldn't have withdrawal symptoms, but if they never gave them such an addictive substance, they wouldn't have withdrawals. I feel so sad for some of these children that I see. I take it with a grain of salt because I say not every child is the same. My daughter is not on those tablets. She's 4 years old, and I've seen where there's parents that give these tablets to their children as young as 4 years old, not to criticize them, but to say, yeah, they have safety features and trust 100% that these safety features are working on their children. I do not have confidence in technology because there's predators out there that they will find a way. Where there's a will, there is a way. And they will find a way to get at the children. And you know what the children do? Sometimes they dismiss it as nothing harmful. And then two tools you look, they're being stalked online. And they are stalked on these social media platforms that we wouldn't even call them social media platforms because they're considered like games like Roblox and Minecraft. But I think of anything as a social media platform when you can live speak or text anybody in real time. And that's what a lot of these games have, and a lot of the parents are not paying attention to that because they feel like it's as innocent as, oh, they're connecting and communicating with their friends. Yeah, good. Leave that for when they're at school. That's what
so when you play the games, right, you can interact with actual other people.
Right. Exactly. That's why a lot of these games require internet, and they're not going to play without internet. It's common sense. And I thank Toy Stories, for example, because for Father's Day, I went to watch the Toy Stories 5 movie with my daughter and her brother, and we went to watch this Toy Stories thing. And that exact message that I am speaking out to everybody right now, hopefully in the island can speak and relate to it. They have very important messages in the Toy Story 5 movie that I think people need to pay attention to.
So is that about safety on the internet? Is that
not only safety on the internet, influences from other friends that look at what you're doing as a normal child would want to do as lame. You know, lame, like something that's not cool. That's what the word is that they use.
Lame?
Anything, lame. Like
that. Cool. That's lame. Yeah.
Yeah, that's lame. Yeah, so going outside and playing with toys and stuff like an average child would do, they look at that as lame, because if you're gonna be invited to a friend's house to play, we're not playing cards, or we're not playing hide and seek, or we're not playing story time, or we're not playing none of those things that we play. We are playing a game on the tablet. And they don't see each other eye to eye, even if they're sleeping next to each other.
I think an even bigger danger than other children being influenced is the adult who pretends to be a child. You know?
Yeah, you got a lot of them up there.
Yeah, and they seeking out because they are the adult on the other end, tricking children, to revealing where they are. They have their ways of, getting information. And
you mean like pedophiles?
Exactly.
Them pedophiles. I tell you what, when I was in school, we used to give a stink eye to the teachers that we know like to look at the girls. Look at the girls. And I'm not in you, right? But you do have some of those adults. I'm not even gonna call them parents, but they have some of those adults that are highly attracted to young girls and boys too. But
yeah, well, we hear stories around here. I mean,
when I was going to school, it was mainly girls, because this is just only my point of view. When we were young boys, the older guys used to get the girls, So it was like that's like what some people would say a cultural thing, but not to say 30-something-year-old man stalking a 16-year-old girl, or 20-something-year-old man molesting a 11-year-old or something like this. Those type of things are concerning. And when a couple of years ago, me and one good friend of mine, I won't name him because I wasn't sure if he would like to have his name mentioned out, but we made a bunch of signs. I mean, I couldn't tell you. We had 2x4. We had plywood, big sheets of plywood, and we was gonna make a bunch of signs saying no pedos. And then we started asking people, do you know what this mean, and all those things. And you know what we was found very surprising?
What?
That majority of the Indian people that are on this island don't even know what a pedophile is. I'm not surprised. And I'm not surprised.
Well, listen, we've got to pick this up at some other point, because I'm down to the end of the line here.
Yeah, I got to go back and get busy now. I see you at the end of the show. Have a great
All right, you take care. Yep, it is coming up on 2:31, so that's it for Talk today. I'm Charles Glidden. One love.
Did you know that Doctors Hospital provides urgent care services 24 hours a day, 7 days a week? And Doctors Hospital's urgent care physicians have access to the most advanced MRI and CT imaging in the Caribbean, providing reliable diagnostics when you need it most. When you need quality urgent care for an illness or injury, Doctors Hospital is here for you 24/7. Whether it's a migraine, chest or abdominal pain, shortness of breath, broken bones, or another urgent need, Doctors Hospital at the top of Walker's Road. Urgent care right now.
Explore your history. Explore your land. Explore your sister islands. The ultimate staycation experience. Your culture, your freedom. The land that time forgot isn't gone. It's your sister islands.
Discover all that our sister islands have to offer. Looking for fresh, healthy food that's full of flavor? Then you've got to visit Kirk Market. Our dishes are made with fresh, high-quality ingredients. Enjoy vibrant mixed greens or satisfying pasta salads. Or try one of our delicious grill options like blackened chicken, spicy beef steak, or grilled salmon. Looking for something light and flavorful? We've got sushi rolls and poke bowls prepared daily. And don't forget to explore a hot bar or Billy Fresh salad at the salad bar. Stop by Kirk Market today for breakfast, lunch, or dinner and taste the difference. Eat well, live well with Kirk Market. The best foundation you can wear is glowing, healthy skin. The offices of dermatologist Dr. Wayne Porter specialize in enhancing your skin's well-being. Whether you're seeking advanced skincare, including any skin cancers, Botox, filler, cosmetic skin enhancements, or simply looking to reduce wrinkles, Dr. Porter offers a full-service dermatology and dermatological surgery practice. For more information, email drporterkman@gmail.com or call 946-9020. That is 946-9020.
Cineco's parametric insurance after hurricanes is now available for motor policies. Fixed automatic payouts cover incidental vehicle expenses like fuel, cleanup, and minor repairs. No claims, no damage required. $200 for comprehensive policies or $100 for third-party policies. Available exclusively through Cineco and included with all new motor insurance policies and upon renewal for current policies. Visit Cineco.ky today. Cineco, keeping Cayman covered.
Talk Today is brought to you by the Ministry of District Administration. Explore your history, explore your land, explore your sister islands. And Doctors Hospital. Peace of mind is important when life happens. Doctors Hospital, always there for you. Call 949-6066.